What's going on YouTube? It's your boy CamATL, and welcome back to another NFL video with your boy. We got a Monday night showdown to cap off this week 6. Hope everybody had an amazing week 6. Davante Adams and Lamar Jackson ended up being the reason I got held back. Never thought in a million years I'd have to say that, but you know, with the value I liked, the mid-range receiving that I liked outside of Davante, it allowed me to, and the cheap tight end that did great, Ricky Seals-Jones. I was able to spend up for Davante Adams. I was able to get Lamar Jackson, who felt incredibly safe for cash games especially. And they ended up being the reason I lost. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, it is what it is. We've been smashing so far. We've been dominating all showdowns. So, I mean, losses happen from time to time. It's just been a good little bit since we have lost. So it was a hard one to take. But I'm ready for this Monday night showdown. It's time to get it popping. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Drop a like down below. Comment anything in the comment section to enter your name into the $50 giveaway I do every single week on this channel. This is the last opportunity for week 6 to enter your name into that $50 giveaway. So make sure you comment anything in the comment section and let's get this money, man. Good luck, y'all. All right, so first off, at captain, the way that I'm feeling, and most times when Buffalo is on a slate, on a showdown slate, I go Josh Allen. Josh Allen just has such a solid floor here. It's a great matchup on the Buffalo side. Buffalo is the offense that I'm more into wanting to get exposure to. We'll talk more about that. But Josh Allen, with what he can do on his feet and his just rushing ability, he can run into, pass into. I mean, he's just got a solid floor, in my opinion. And at captain, I haven't struggled too much to be able to get Josh Allen at my captain spot so far. As the day goes on, maybe things will change. But as of right now, I've been able to get Josh Allen no problem. And he has been my staple. And he has been a guy that I feel like is a lock, whether you put him at captain or you put him at flex. He's a guy that you probably most likely need. He's a guy who could drop 40 and just completely ruin you. So you cannot fade Josh Allen, in my opinion. In GPP, if you're making 150 lineups, then cool, whatever. Get Diggs, get Beasley, those guys, and hope those guys go off PPR-wise and, you know, Josh Allen has a mediocre day or something. Maybe they get up big by like Singletary or something, or something, Zach Moss and Singletary. You know, maybe Josh Allen only throws one touchdown and the rest is on the ground with the running backs in the red zone. Hey, you know, maybe that'll pay off for you. So in GPP, if you're making a whole bunch of lineups, cool, whatever. The way that I prefer in GPP is sneakily getting possibly off Derrick Henry maybe, because Henry is priced up big and they're expected to be down majority of this game. Now, a lot of times Tennessee likes to control the clock and run the ball a good bit. The problem is if they drop down early in this one, they can end up having to abandon that. They're not going to be able to really push it between the tackles too much when you're down a couple touchdowns and you kind of need to get things started. Yes, Derrick Henry can see about 4 to 6 targets in the pass game, possibly, if they are behind. So he will get more targets in the pass game. Guys like McNichols, whatever his name is, I'll talk about him in a minute. Those guys like that are interesting, but we'll talk about it. We'll get to it. Let's start at flex. Now, in no way am I saying you have to fade Derrick Henry. The only reason I said that is for GPPs. It's an interesting strategy because Derrick Henry will probably be super chalky and for good reason. I mean, the dude gets 35 carries a week. He's the safest bet in cash as you can get, like I felt with Lamar Jackson and Davante Adams this week. But he is as safe as you can get, okay? But he is 11-4. He is almost 2,000 more than Ryan Tannehill, who will be behind in this game and needing to throw most likely. With the game being in Tennessee, I could see the game ended up staying competitive though, where they still are able to run, and you know what I mean. So Derrick Henry is a solid option. Once again, this is another guy like Allen. I haven't struggled too much getting him in. I've been fine with getting Derrick Henry in. He's obviously the Tennessee offense, even though they got Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. He is the Tennessee offense. He is the focal point that they want to get going from start to finish. Make sure that Derrick Henry gets his touches, and we should be good to go. So expect a lot of Derrick Henry, but at the end of the day, they are expected to be behind, and it is against a good defense in Buffalo. All right, plain and simple. But you can also look at it the way, like, I mean, Buffalo's secondary is also pretty solid. They held Patrick Mahomes to 21 Draftkings points. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. This is a tough matchup for Tennessee, but Derrick Henry for cash games especially is probably a good bet. I'm going to go Stephon Diggs as part of the core as well. You got to pair if Josh Allen's your captain, got to pair your boy Josh Allen with his favorite target, and that's Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the most heavily targeted guy in the red zone. He's got the most targets out of any wide receiver in the league in the red zone. That is a good bet that he's going to get in the end zone here. And Tennessee's secondary is not very good. This is a great spot, like I said. I don't see any issues with Buffalo scoring here. I don't see any avenue where Tennessee's able to slow them down at all. I think Buffalo's going to be able to score at will. Question is Tennessee going to be able to score at will against Buffalo and keep the game competitive? That is the thing that you got to think about, and that is what will set you apart. If everybody is going with a game script of keeping it close or building to the aspect of the game staying competitive, then it could end up blowing them up pretty early if the game does get out of hand and Buffalo's up 21-0 at halftime. Then Derrick Henry's not going to get many carries between the tackles at that point. And if Derrick Henry gets 15 and Ryan Tannehill goes for 25 to 30 because of garbage time, just airing it out to A.J. Brown, the McNichols dude, Julio Jones, Ferkser, and just throwing the ball around, then that you will automatically get a huge edge. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm doing that at this moment. I'm not sure. I have more of the day to go, but that is something that keeps popping up in my gut. It's like, man, I love Derrick Henry, but, and it could be the overthinking part. So, if I can get Derrick Henry, most likely I'll get him, especially in cash games. But in GPPs, I'm down to get a little sneaky and try to get off that possibly with them possibly being behind here. All right. Anyway, let's talk about more guys. So I talked about it. Derrick Henry, yes. I'm interested in playing him if I have the money to be able to do it. Dawson Knox has been absolutely balling. Knox has been the guy for Buffalo. I mean, this dude in the red zone has been a beast. He is 7'6". I haven't gotten a ton of him. Julio Jones is interesting. A.J. Brown popped up on the injury report with a sickness. So if A.J. Brown misses, even though Buffalo's secondary is great, Julio Jones with no A.J. Brown at 6'6" is definitely interesting with them playing from behind for sure. Cole Beasley at 5'4" is damn near locked, but I'm not going to put 3 Buffalo. I'm going to pop a Tennessee player in here. But, Cole Beasley is definitely interesting. Buffalo Bills defense you can even consider at 4'8". Devin Singletary and Zach Moss are both guys that you can consider. Devin Singletary is definitely interesting at 4'6". He's a lot cheaper. Ferkser at 4K. With Tennessee playing catch up, like I said, most of this game, they're probably going to have to air it out a good bit here, more than they're comfortable with, and Ferkser could benefit there. McNichols is the guy I want to talk about. So, McNichols is questionable. It looks like he did not practice. So we'll have to see. The questionable designation gives him a chance to play. More information regarding his status and the possible return of Darrington Evans should arrive well before. So we got to keep an eye on that situation. Let's see how Evans is. Is Evans... Running backs coach indicated Tuesday that Evans took part in practice last week. Evans was designated to return from injury reserve last Wednesday and apparently got into some practice immediately. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that situation. Darrington Evans is definitely interesting. He is a good pass-catching back. Same thing with McNichols. McNichols against the Jets a couple weeks ago got like 12 targets in the pass game. So that's something to consider, especially if they're behind. That's another solid spot. Let's see. I have some interest in Josh Reynolds, and I like to put a value in these builds. You know me. Just because a lot of times these value guys, especially if they get in the end zone, can put you in takedown territory in these showdowns. And getting the right value is clutch for showdown. And that's been a big part of our success so far this year is we've gotten these value picks correct. All right, and Josh Reynolds is a guy that I'm interested in, plain and simple. Josh Reynolds is a talented receiver. He's the best cheap option on this slate, and it's not particularly close talent-wise. He's only 400. He's playing for a team that's going to be behind. All right, now Tennessee's getting a little more healthy in the receiving core, but especially if A.J. Brown ends up missing, Josh Reynolds at 400 is a guy that I'm interested for value as an option if you want to be able to spend up and get all these other guys that you want. So Josh Reynolds is a solid value for me at 400. Let's see who else. I'm not going to have a ton of Emmanuel Sanders. I'm prioritizing Diggs and Cole Beasley. Could that screw me? Possibly, yes. But I really love the price of Cole Beasley this week being 5'4" compared to Emmanuel Sanders being 8'6". I mean, come on. That's a $3,000 difference. So Cole Beasley is in a solid position here, and I definitely prefer Beasley over Sanders point per dollar wise. Keep an eye on A.J. Brown, see about his situation. He was added to the injury report, like I said, because of an illness, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Other guys questionable is Chester Rogers, which is another plus for Josh Reynolds. So that's going to leave, if those guys end up not going, Julio, Marcus Johnson, Nick Westbrook, Akina, I'm not sure how to say his name, Josh Reynolds will be the top options. And honestly, I'm hoping Rodgers and A.J. Brown do miss. That'll make the value of Josh Reynolds even better and make him damn near lock territory on a showdown slate. So like I said, getting the showdown value right is key in these showdowns. A lot of times I like to grab the showdown value of the team that I expect to be trailing, especially the receiving part of that, even whether I want to go the third down back who gets more pass catching, who's super, super cheap in pass catching scripts, or, the wide receiver, a sleeper wide receiver, super cheap, that's going to get more targets in a down situation where they're down. They're running more like 3 wide sets and 4 wide sets and stuff like that. So that's normally what I like to play these things as. So just to recap, the core is Allen, Diggs, and then Josh Reynolds' is value. It's not a must, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned him as another core piece. But Derrick Henry is in play, obviously. If you want to get sneaky in GPPs, getting off of Henry for Tannehill, seeing that the script is leaning more towards possibly being more Tannehill needing the throw. But we know how Tennessee is. Tennessee pretty much makes you have no choice but, look, we're going to run the ball 35 times. Don't care if we're down 40 points. We're going to run the ball 35 times. And if that's the case, Derrick Henry is probably as safe as they come. But he is pricey. You're paying up for that boy. But he is a beast. Him, Tannehill, Dawson Knox. Pay attention to A.J. Brown. That's going to make Julio great at 6'6". And Cole Beasley at 5'4" is amazing. That's too cheap. I really love Beasley today. Singletary at 4'6" really sticks out to me at that price. And then the kicker for Buffalo, seeing Buffalo's favored. Most of the time I like the favored kicker. Most of the time once they get more into the red zone, they don't really try to push it once they're up. So they rely more on field goals. So Bass has been solid as well. So I like Bass a lot in this game as well at 3-4 as a value option. And that's about it, guys. Thank you for joining me as always. Good luck on tonight's Monday Night Showdown. I will be back doing a video tomorrow for the first look for Week 7. We are flying by these weeks. Guess what? NBA starts tomorrow. So I'll be dropping a video for that probably tonight on my core that I like on the little 2-game slate. I might even talk a little showdown options as well, seeing that it's only 2 games. So we'll see. Super excited about the NBA season. Hit up greenlightdfs.com to join the season for that and just go ahead and lock yourself in for the year. And let's get this money, y'all. Thank you guys for joining me as always, and let's get it. I'm out.